The moments people called too real to be coincidence. There are scenes audiences expect to feel real, the ones written into scripts, rehearsed under studio lights, and edited for emotional impact. And then there are moments no one plans for. Moments that slip through without polish or intention. Moments that feel so natural, so unguarded, that people pause and ask themselves the same question. Was that really acting? With Freen and Becky, those moments didn't arrive loudly. They appeared quietly, often in between takes, between questions, between laughter and silence. And slowly, people began calling them too real to be coincidence. When reality interrupts performance, acting relies on control of expression, movement, emotion. But the moments that unsettled viewers most were the ones where control seemed to soften. A glance that lingered a second longer than necessary. A hand that reached automatically without looking. A smile that arrived before the joke landed. These weren't scenes. They weren't cues. They were reactions. And reactions are hard to fake repeatedly. The moments that weren't meant to be seen. Some of the most discussed instances happened off-script. During interviews, when Freen turned instinctively toward Becky before answering. At fan events, when Becky's hand found Freen's arm without either acknowledging it. In behind-the-scenes clips, where comfort replaced performance. These were moments no one planned to analyze, yet they became the most scrutinized. Because when something happens naturally once, it can be coincidence. When it happens again and again, it becomes a pattern. Why the word coincidence stopped making sense. Coincidences are inconsistent. What people saw with Freen and Becky was consistency. The same softness. The same awareness. The same ease. Across different days, settings, pressures, and audiences. If it were staged, it would shift. If it were forced, it would falter. If it were accidental, it would disappear. Didn't. And that's when people stopped calling it coincidence. The body language that said too much. Words can be controlled. Bodies are more honest. Freen leaning slightly toward Becky even when there was no camera in front of them. Becky adjusting her posture to match Freen's without realizing it. The way silence between them felt settled, not awkward. These weren't gestures taught in workshops. They were habits, formed through familiarity. Habits reveal truth faster than dialogue ever could. When people started to feel like witnesses, not viewers. At some point, the audience stopped feeling entertained and started feeling like they were observing something private. Not invasive, just real. That's when discomfort set in for some viewers, because watching authenticity without explanation can feel like crossing an invisible line. People weren't reacting to impropriety. They were reacting to intimacy without permission. Why too real became a common refrain. The phrase too real appeared everywhere because it captured something specific. Not romance, not scandal, but unfiltered presence. Moments where neither Freen nor Becky seemed aware they were being perceived. And that awareness, or lack of it, is what made people pause. Actors perform when they know they're being watched. People exist when they forget. The dangerous power of consistency. Consistency is comforting, until it raises questions. With Freen and Becky, consistency didn't fade under pressure. Didn't disappear with time. It didn't shift with public reaction. That's what gave the moments weight. You can fake chemistry once. You can't fake it calmly, quietly, and continuously. Why some people needed it to be explained? Because uncertainty is uncomfortable. People wanted answers because answers create distance. They turn feeling into concept. They turn moments into categories. But Freen and Becky didn't provide explanations. They let moments exist on their own. And that refusal forced people to confront a simple truth. Sometimes connection doesn't announce itself. It reveals itself. What those moments protected. By not addressing the speculation, Freen and Becky preserved something fragile. They didn't allow it to be turned into content. They didn't let it become a performance. They didn't give it a narrative that didn't belong to them. Silence became a form of care. Conclusion. Why the moments still linger. The moments people called too real to be coincidence still linger because they were never framed as proof. They were never highlighted. They were never defended. They were never explained. They simply happened. And in a world where almost everything is curated, that's what made them unforgettable. Not because they confirmed anything, but because they reminded people what authenticity looks like when it slips through unnoticed. Too real to be coincidence. Too gentle to be forced. And too consistent to be ignored.